Welcome to another episode of Against the Insanity. Coming up on the show today, we've got an Apple employee facing fines and prison. Joy Behar from The View. Trump Republicans are inciting hate crimes. Tucker Carlson fired from Fox News. We kind of want to dive into that a lot and go over a couple things here. And show hosting legend Jerry Springer dies at 79. What's going on, Ricky?
Hey, nothing much. Crazy weekend. A lot of fucking rain and thunderstorms. Shit woke me up this morning and I was like, oh, fuck. I guess I'll get out of bed now and get ready for the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't let you sleep in.
Yeah, I didn't do much this weekend because it's been rain since Friday, and here we are Sunday, and it's still fucking raining, so.
I'm fucking stoked, man. On Friday, Amy scheduled an appointment for us because, we're in the process of shopping for vans for upcoming van life, and we actually found our van. So it's a 2021, one of the Ram vans, and it's a 2500. Fucking super heat. I mean, dude, you get in the back of that thing, you can stand straight up and you still got fucking space. So once that shit's built out, dude, like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Not nice. Too bad, man. I think it was like 47,000 miles for 2021, which isn't bad. Definitely not beat up. Very good condition. We're kind of waiting on it to be detailed and stuff like that now. 38,000. So not terrible. And then our build for the van, I think we're looking at is about 29,000.
Oh shit!
To get all of our shit put in it and solar panels added, all that kind of fun stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty stoked, man. It's pretty cool once we bring it home. And fucking Dodge, oh my god, it's so nice. They finally got rid of that stupid dial for your fucking transmission.
Yeah.
They actually brought back the fucking stick. Like, thank God. And I was actually surprised, dude. I took it for a test drive, and that thing handles better than my truck in terms of turning radius. Dude, I got that into the most ridiculous fucking spot. Like, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah. How long are those Ram vans, like, in comparison to your truck? Like, is it longer than the truck?
Oh, yeah. It's got to be longer than the truck, I think. I don't know exactly how much longer, but it's definitely, when you look at this thing, dude, it is fucking massive.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm looking forward to fucking driving that shit around once it's done. So we've got here, this was a pretty interesting one. So a former Apple employee who defrauded Apple sentenced to 3 years in prison and $19 million in fines. So we have a former Apple employee, Drihenda Prasad, was sentenced this week to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay more than $17 million in restitution to Apple. Back in November, Prasad pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud and conspiracy to defraud the United States after stealing millions of dollars from Apple. Prasad was part of Apple's global supply chain department between 2008 and 2018, and his job was to buy parts and services from vendors for servicing older devices. In 2011, Prasad started accepting kickbacks, inflating invoices, and stealing parts, causing Apple to pay for components and services it did not receive.
Holy shit.
Dude, this guy's fucked.
Yeah, that's not good.
No wonder Apple's parts were so fucking expensive and Apple's fucking raising prices, because this asshole is fucking stealing all his money from him.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy, dude. One thing I wanted to bring up, I was actually at a Best Buy over the weekend, and I was looking at, the Macs and, the different products that they have. And, dude, I am not impressed with the new iMacs whatsoever. Like, I just do not like them. I really don't. And, you can't service them whatsoever, really. There's no panel on the back where you can upgrade the RAM yourself or anything like that. It's all just in one unit. And I just don't like the way they look. I really do not. I mean, the iMac that you and I have was the last Mac that I really liked. It looked really nice.
Yep.
But these new ones, I can't get on board with them. The only product I will say that I actually look at and I'm like, oh man, I really want one of these, is that new display monitor. Like, that's it. Like, that monitor is really nice. But dude, everything else coming from Apple as of late, I'm not impressed. And, I'm not a Mac or Apple hater. I have an iPhone, I have MacBook Pro, iMac, a lot of Apple.
Yeah, we're in it.
Yeah, we're definitely in it. But I'm looking at a lot of this newer shit coming from them lately, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on?
Well, we were talking about it before the show, and I was saying, I think Apple's got a day of reckoning coming because their design it's not as good as it used to be. Like,
No.
the design of their products looks flat and it looks disgusting at this point. And it's getting tired of me. I mean, the reason I wanted to go to an iMac is because it looked so good. Like, the design was great. You know, you had the Apple that lit up on the back. You know, they moved away from that. You don't even get an Apple logo that lights up on the back of a lot of these Macs anymore. You know, just little details like that really like interested me. Like you said, with the iMac and stuff too, like how fucking thin that machine was, but yet how much power it actually did pack inside too. Still an Intel product, and Apple's moving away from that as well. And yeah, man, it's a bummer because I look at those fucking new iMacs and it's just an eyesore. It hurts me to look at it. I'm like, this feels like a machine I would get like around fucking Black Friday. That was like, the old generic branded machines that you buy for like super cheap, but yeah, you pay Apple fucking prices.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this hurts me to fucking say that, but it's like, it's disgusting looking.
Yeah, and they're incorporating that notch on like all their machines, like the new MacBook Pros and everything have the notch for the camera, and it's taken away from the screen. I hate that fucking notch, dude. I really do. Like, it's bad enough on the phone. You know, I love my phone, but I hate that notch on the phone. But then you're going to also put it on a computer as well. I don't like it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's bad, dude.
They need to fix that shit. They need to do something.
I hope so, yeah.
The new phones, they made the notch smaller, but it's still there, and it's still an eyesore, in my opinion.
Because I have the 14 Pro, and like you have that, if they call it the dynamic landing or whatever the fuck it is, and all of your alerts and shit go through there, and when you're listening to music you see a little icon of your music and what's playing and stuff like that. So I mean, it's better, but it's still there, like, and it still takes up like screen real estate. It sucks. I don't like it. So this story always gets me when I gotta talk about the fucking View. So Joy Behar, Trump Republicans are inciting hate crimes. Joy Behar told her co-hosts Thursday on ABC's The View the former President Donald Trump and the Republican Party were inciting hate crimes while discussing Montana's Republicans barring transgender lawmaker Zoe Zephyr from the House floor for the rest of the 2023 season. Co-host Sarah Haynes said, "Our First Amendment rights protect our right to speak, but also protest." They said she was inciting an insurrection. There was no violence, nothing happening. The country was built on protest. That's why it's protected by the First Amendment. The Boston Tea Party and the civil rights movement to the women's right to vote. That's what this country is. You know, that's kind of funny she brings that women's right to vote, considering they can't even decide what a fucking woman is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good
now
point.
you want to fucking drop out the women's right to vote.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like these people, like on The View, anytime they open up their fucking mouth, it's just like you want to slap yourself in the middle of the fucking forehead.
Yeah, they're morons. I can't stand those women on that show. They're so stupid. Their views are so skewed and they're brainwashed. I mean, there's no saving those people.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, this whole transgender thing is a hill that I'm willing to fucking fight and die on because I'm tired of this shit. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but this bullshit about being around kids at fucking taking your kids to transgender fucking strip parties or whatever the fuck, these book readings and shit like that. And you look up and when you start researching a lot of these people, a lot of them are fucking sex offenders and stuff. That's exactly why they want to be around kids. It has nothing to do with them fucking, wanting to be free and who they are. It's like they're trying to get close to your kids. They're trying to fucking groom them. And I'm sorry. You can get pissed at me for saying that. But you know what? Look it up. The truth is right there in front of you. These people are fucking sick.
Not only that, but these trans women and Behar, for example, defending them. She doesn't realize that these transgender now that identify as women are actually taking women's rights away. Like They truly are. Because I mean, and I'll use just one example. The whole sports thing. I mean, you have women's sports, and then you have these transgender people that are competing in women's sports. They're breaking all kinds of records. They're destroying every, I'll call them true woman record. And then real women, there's no stats in a sports setting. Like the records that women were truly getting and breaking records, their records are null and void because these transgender women that were men are trumping everything that they have done in the past. And it goes further than that. But it's just, you don't understand that your rights and the things that you were able to do before
stripped away.
Are getting stripped away. Absolutely.
And taken away by men again. So we're back to where we were before.
Right.
Go figure. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why these people don't make any sense. Their arguments are fucking null and void when it comes to this shit because it's like you're actually losing rights. And then you've got like some of these fucking sports stars saying, well, you need to allow men in fucking women's sports and stuff. I'm like, these people are so lost. It really hurts my head to try to fucking think about it because, like, you know, you've got that Megan Rapinoe signing that thing that she agrees to let men and women's sports. It's like, did you realize when the fucking women's soccer team played a bunch of 15-year-old boys, they got the shit kicked out of them? So, like, I mean, and that's not even, I mean, that's literally, they did that. It happened. You know what I mean? Look it up.
Hmm.
So it's like, hey, you're signing your own goddamn death warrant at that point. And I don't want to fucking hear it that you, and she's the first one to complain that women's soccer, we don't get paid to do this and paid to, you got the shit kicked out of you by 15-year-old boys. And you want to fucking get as much money as fucking men do? Like, I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't
come
make
on
sense.
now. It really doesn't make any sense. And I've, you know, the whole situation with the WNBA, it's like, it's almost non-existent. Who's going? Nobody.
Right.
Well, I figured I'd get to the meat of our argument this week. Fucking Tucker Carlson fired from Fox News.
I was doing a lot of research into this, so I kind of want to set a timeline and kind of leading up to. So prior to Tucker Carlson being fired, I'm not sure if you've seen, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez demanded Biden administration to regulate Tucker Carlson due to incitement of violence late Friday, April 21st. So she was starting this shit, basically saying we need more regulation on conservative media. And then on Sunday, 423, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez calls for federal regulation of conservative media while she interviewed with Jen Psaki on MSNBC.
I saw some of that.
Yeah, so she stated that Tucker Carlson is using his platform to promote bad behavior that needs to be regulated. And the exact quote, she says, quote, "We have very real issues with what is permissible on air, and we saw that with January 6th. And we saw that with the lead up to January 6th, and how we navigate questions, not just freedom of speech, but also accountability of incitement of violence," end quote.
This chick is a fucking moron.
She is a moron, absolutely. So that was on April 23rd. And then the morning of April 24th was when Fox announces that Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to, quote unquote, part ways. We thank him for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor. Tucker Carlson's last show was on April 21st, which was the Friday before. Fox plans to host an interim show of Fox News Tonight, hosted by rotating Fox News personalities until a new host is named. Tucker Carlson being fired occurred 1 week after Fox News loses a lawsuit with the Dominion voting systems. The settlement of $787.5 million. More information has come out that states the decision to fire Tucker Carlson came straight from Fox Corporation Rupert Murdoch. Murdoch states Carlson's exit is related to the discrimination lawsuit filed by Abby Grosberg, where she stated she was bullied and coerced into giving misleading testimony, where she altered her deposition testimony in the defamation case against the network. Murdoch has also said he is concerned with Tucker Carlson's coverage of January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol, where Tucker
printed the truth.
Yeah, exactly, because he was telling the truth. Where Tucker Carlson printed the conspiracy theory that they're deeming that the insurrection was provoked by government agents. Carlson being let go doesn't have anything to do with the Dominion settlement, according to Dominion. So some very interesting shit here. One thing I want to touch on is, since Tucker Carlson was fired, Tucker Carlson's senior executive producer, Justin Wells, followed Tucker and left Fox News as well. Since Tucker left, Fox Corporation sheds $962 million in market value after announcing Tucker Carlson was fired, and the ratings have collapsed 70%.
Well, here's a couple things to kind of add to what you had said, too. So even before Tucker Carlson had been fired, they parted ways with Dan Bongino. And you've heard Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino has kind of had the same beat as Tucker. I mean, he tells the truth. He tells it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat it. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that Bongino talks about that it's weird. It just seems like Fox didn't agree with anymore. So
Mhm.
they got rid of him about a week before Tucker had left. And up until, that Friday of Tucker's show, because there were people that, Tucker probably knew this was coming. He did not know this is coming, because when he closed his show on Friday, he had that one pizza delivery driver on that stopped that robbery by tripping the robber or whatever. They were like eating pizza
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff on the show. And he's like, we'll see you Monday. So as far as he knew, it was business as usual. He was going to be back Monday and, back in the driver's seat, just telling the truth. And, over the weekend, then Nick was fucking, I remember Nick texting me saying, "Did you hear Tucker Carlson was fired?" I'm like, I thought he was bullshitting me at first. I'm like, there's no way Fox would shoot themselves like that. Here it is. And, it's funny too. And a thing that a lot of people don't talk about, Tucker Carlson. So Fox News also has Fox Nation. And when initially Fox had went live with Fox Nation, it was kind of flat. They weren't getting a lot of, it was like that CNN Plus where you subscribe and you get all these different shows and stuff like that. And then Tucker Carlson actually went on there and did Tucker Carlson Today. Subscriptions for Fox Nation shot through the roof. So not only is Fox losing a shit ton of money, Fox Nation now, because Tucker had all these originals on fucking Fox Nation and stuff like that. With him being gone, everyone's canceling their Fox Nation subscriptions as well.
That's
So
crazy.
they're getting handled on both ends. And
Right.
it's insane. It is a bloodbath. And, it's funny, on April 26th, Tucker Carlson put out on his Twitter account. You can go there and you can see it. It says, the tweet starts out with "Good evening." It's a video. The video itself has over 23.2 million views, more than what his replacement show that they put on the network was averaging during the week. I mean, it destroyed whatever, and Brian Kilmeade, who was running his show this week, I can't stand the guy, to be honest with you. He's a fucking asshole. But I think it's hilarious that they fucking got destroyed.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention about Fox News, they're saying, they're claiming, anyway, I'll put it that way, the misinformation and, Tucker Carlson trying to incite violence about the whole January 6th thing. I want to talk about one particular piece that Tucker Carlson himself talked about on Fox. On January 6th, the coverage of it, Tucker Carlson showed a video of the Washington police escorting Jacob Chansley, known as the QAnon shaman, around the Capitol building. And it shows evidence, proof that the police were just walking him around the Capitol. They were opening doors for him, and definitely look this shit up. I mean, it's not a lie. Like, Tucker covered this shit. But the police were escorting him through the Capitol building, and they were trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, this guy, stormed the Capitol, broke in, all this bullshit. And he was arrested from what I understand, like 41 years. He was supposed to be imprisoned.
Yep. Until
in a federal prison.
Tucker brought this
Yep.
video out.
Tucker released this video. He questioned it. He's like, look, how was he thrown in prison for 41 years when he didn't break into the place? The fucking police were walking with him. Like, literally, side by side. They were opening doors, using fobs, accessing doors, letting him through, walking through the Capitol and everything. And ever since Tucker released that, what I find funny here is Jacob Chansley was released early from federal prison and moved to a residential reentry management facility in Phoenix, where he is originally from, and he is expected to be released on May 25th. If it wasn't for this coverage that Tucker Carlson talked about on his show, he would still be in prison.
Well, there's one other thing I want to add to this, because there's this from January 6th, and there's also the beat that Tucker was on about that fucking guy who was at the Capitol the night before telling people that they need to march down and storm the Capitol. Ray Epps,
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with the guy or not, but a lot of people, even that night, like if you watch the videos, people are like, this guy, they started chanting Fed, 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 like he's a plant. Like, this guy is trying to incite people to walk into the Capitol. There's video of him, too, that Tucker showed of him the day of trying to get more people to go to the Capitol. We got it. We're going to the Capitol. Let's go. Come on. We're going to the Capitol. It's so funny because, like, this guy claimed to be a Trump supporter at some point, and he's wearing a fucking Make America Great Again hat and stuff like that. And to watch, 60 Minutes did an interview with him, and we're basically, like, defending this guy. When have you ever seen the media defend a quote-unquote Trump supporter? It's so crazy to me that you see the fucking media all get behind this guy and like, he's not a Fed, he's not this, he's not that. Like, they're all trying to run interference for this guy. It is so insane to me that the media would never back any quote unquote Trump supporter and stuff, but yet for some reason they defend this guy. You need to start asking questions.
Has there been any confirmation? What is he registered to vote?
That I don't know. I mean, I don't think people have looked that shit up, but it's funny because like there are some interesting connections with his wife and Dominion voting systems. So I don't, you kind of got to look into this stuff yourself. You always want to research people and their backgrounds and their wives. It's pretty interesting what you find out sometimes. So I definitely urge you as a viewer or listener, definitely you want to kind of go through it and kind of look at these connections because then it starts to make sense.
Yeah. Where does he work too? Does he work for the government?
I don't 100% know that for a fact, but there is like, I watched an interview with a guy. He said, there's only two reasons you disappear from the Fed's most wanted list. One, you're an informant.
Right.
Two, you're dead. So those are your two options normally.
Right. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be more to come from this story. One of the things I want to talk about is Tucker Carlson. Next week, we definitely want to cover more of his side of things and just kind of cover what he's saying since he left. So
yeah, and more possible firings too, might I add. There's a couple other contributors from Fox that I've been hearing light rumors that they may end up being fired. And so, we'll see what comes of that as well. And I just wanted to do like a little bit of a RIP to our pal Jerry Springer that brought us all the trash TV, this whole start of the reality. It's not your kid. I'm dating a Klans member, all that fucking bearded fucking dwarf ladies and all kinds of weird shit. Jerry Springer dying at 79. I didn't know the guy had cancer.
I didn't know either, actually, until you put this in here. I didn't know it was cancer.
Yeah.
And what kind?
Really say on here. I know it was cancer, though, because I've seen it pop up like in some of the other, it just says battle with cancer.
I didn't realize the show ran for 27 years.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, I remember when I was back in high school, dude, we would fucking watch this show all the time, like because all the fights and shit. But then when they started toning it back and stuff, like it wasn't as good. But I was like, oh my God, did you catch the Jerry Springer show yesterday? This huge fight broke out on stage. And it was just fun and exciting to watch and talk about, when we were in high school and stuff.
Yeah. More than 4,000 episodes aired,
yeah,
and the show ended in 2018.
And I think his bodyguard still has a show, so it's technically like that Steve guy, that bald guy. He has his own talk show now, so I think that he kind of took over the reins and just started kind of doing his own thing with it. So that was pretty interesting in itself. But R.I.P. Jerry. Busy week. I'm sure there's a lot more to come of this, and I want to continue to follow the Fox News ratings and shit. But find us on YouTube and Rumble right now. Feeling we're not appeasing the YouTube gods. We tend to seem to be getting throttled a bit. But if you do listen to the show or send us an email, againsttheinsanity247@gmail.com. Just let us know if you listened to the show, if you were a new time listener, and why or how you've heard the show. I don't know if YouTube's promoting it at all. I doubt it because of the content that we talk about during the show. We also have recently gone live with the PayPal. Same email address as I had stated before. Like if, we want to do this show, continue to do it more long term and eventually maybe get into like a weekly daily show, like during the week and stuff. So, we'll see what comes of that. You can always donate to the show. Give us some kickbacks if you really like what you hear, if you're entertained. But yeah, definitely drop us a line. We want to hear from you, whether you're a family member, because I know there's some family members that listen. I have a couple good friends that do listen to the show. We want to hear from you. And if there's anything that you would like us to do, there's a lot of plans for the show. It's just getting there. Ricky and I both work full time at this point. So kind of can be a little bit tricky to get some planning together. And, since we're on different sides of the country as of right now, but we definitely want to bring you more. So we will see you next week.
Rest in peace, Jerry.
R.I.P. Not the father.